It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
When the stakes are high, the debates get hotter. When the issues demand clarity, we bring the fire. Welcome to Crossfire. Crossfire, where politics meets perspective, where issues are dissected, and where no topic is off limits. From the corridors of power to the pulse of the streets, we break down the politics, the controversies, and the decisions that shape our nation. Join Dr. Tony Olisangbeki as he puts guests on the hot seat, drilling them with the tough questions, demanding the hard truths, and leaving no room for half measures. Get ready for fearless conversations and uncompromising analysis. Crossfire, exclusive on Udala 104.7 FM Onitsha, every Saturday from 9 a.m.
A very beautiful morning to you and welcome to Crossfire on Udala 104.7 FM this very lovely Saturday morning, and today being the 6th day in the month of June in the year 2026. Wherever you are listening to us from and whatever you may be doing on this very show, you are welcome. Remember, on this very platform we speak the truths, we uphold the truth, and we preserve the truth. We call a spade, and we can never call a spade by any other name. And there's more reason we say, Nos Dicera Veritas, and Nos Dicera Irisum Veritas, and Nos Dicera Vivica Cabit Veritas, and Nos Dicera Lingolum, and Nos Dicera Contra Lingolum. You are welcome wherever you are listening to us from. For those of you who are listening outside the country, we appreciate you, and we know there are many of you who are in Italy, there are those in Brazil, in Spain, in South Africa, in London, in Togo, in Ghana. It's about 12 minutes than the hour of 4 a.m. in New York, and it's also 12 minutes than the hour of 9 a.m. in London, 12 minutes than the hour of 3 a.m. in Chicago, Illinois, and also 12 minutes than the hour of 5 a.m. in Brazil. It's also 12 minutes than the hour of 5 p.m. in Tokyo, Japan, and also 12 minutes than the hour of 4 p.m. in China, 13 minutes than the hour of 12 midday in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, and also 30 minutes and the hour of 11 a.m. in Moscow, Russia. Wherever you may be listening to us from, we appreciate you. Don't forget also it's about 30 minutes and the hour of 10 a.m. in South Africa, and also 30 minutes and the hour of 8 a.m. in Ghana, and also 30 minutes and the hour of 11 a.m. in Jerusalem. Same applies to Saudi Arabia. You are welcome, irrespective of where you are listening to us from. We appreciate all of you. For those who are listening to us from Kuwait, Qatar, we appreciate. You can also go to our social media handle and drop your comments, because if you go straight to Facebook, search Udala FM, you drop your message. We are going to read it here. Same applies to those who are on Instagram and those who are on X and also on TikTok. You are all welcome. Remember, we are here to do the work of the Lord. I've always said this is our sanctuary and this is our own altar where we profess the truth. My name is Tony Olisabeki, the Honorable Speaker, welcoming you once again to another edition of Crossfire. We promise that it's going to be fire exchange as usual. It's going to be explosive, but this time around not that kind of explosion you may think. No, not a violent one, but then on the basis of idea, reasoning, and logic is going to be worthwhile. Just sit back and enjoy this very program. And we have a guest this very morning. In our studio, we have Prince Christopher Omo, a lawyer, a constitutional lawyer, and also a development consultant based in Onitsha, Anambra State. It's my pleasure to welcome you, Barrister Christopher Omo. You are welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Olisabeki, for having me in the studio one more time. And thank you to the Udala team, especially those behind the scene we don't see, who make sure we are on air live and clear. I will say thank you. And to our listening guests on the radio, those listening online, wherever you are in the world, thank you, and stay tuned to Udala Radio, 104.7 FM Onitsha.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Barrister Mo Christopher. Let's quickly, we have to do certain rituals. Remember, we have to take you to political round-up stories. Once we are done with that, we come back to the issue we have today. We are going to continue where we stopped last week. Remember last week we focused so much on the so-called Biafra Day, the declaration, what led to what and how it happened. We were able to make that with other political developments, but we're going to continue in a different dimension today. But before we do that, let's quickly take you through to different political happenings around the country. while we wait for our political round-up stories, we can as well begin the program. And while we wait for that, I remember since the May 30th declaration of Biafra, which was made on 30th May 1967 by Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, was then the military governor of Nigeria's eastern region. He made a declaration in Enugu, which subsequently became the capital of the self-declared Republic of Biafra. A lot of factors led to the declaration, which include the 1966 January military coup led mainly by young military officers, and the coup resulted in the deaths of key northern and western political leaders, including likes of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa and Amadu Bello. Many northerners view the coup as an Igbo conspiracy because most of the coup leaders were said to be Igbos. But then you can also understand the counter coup of July 1966. The northern military officers of a true government of Johnson Ageyu Umunakwe Ironsi, who was killed during the coup, and he was the primary target where he had gone to visit the then south or the western military governor of Faji, and this further deepened ethnic divisions. You can also talk about the mass killings of Igbos in northern Nigeria that happened between May and October 1966, where thousands of Igbos living in northern Nigeria were killed in a series of violent attacks, while many more fled back to the eastern region, and this created widespread fear and demands for self-determination in the east. And also the failure of a Aburi Accord. Remember January 1967, Aburi meeting where Nigerian military leaders met in Aburi, Ghana They agreed on issues of framework, resolving crises. However, disagreement over the implementation of the accord led to its collapse, and also the creation of 12 states. Remember, I did say that the last time we were here, that was done on the 27th day of May 1967. And when Ojukwu was present on implementation of Aburi Accord, Gowon went on to create 12 states, dividing his own eastern region into 3 states: Rivers, and the East Central, and also East Southeastern states. But then Ojukwu felt this was a joke taken too far, and the Eastern region's leadership saw this as a move to weaken its authority and also control over oil producing areas, because at that time the Eastern region was in control of the oil resources of the country. And also following the breakdown of this negotiation and growing insecurity, Ojukwu declared the independence of Republic of Biafra. And we are going to just follow that through, because we have seen quite a lot happening in the polity. But since after the inevitable civil war, because why I would say it was inevitable, because this signs showed clearly that the war was actually inevitable. But nevertheless, a lot of things happened, and we are going to look at a lot of issues that we should be thinking about this period, because that's why we have a constitutional lawyer and somebody who understands Igbo politics, Nigerian politics, African politics, international politics. That's why he's here with us in the studio to do justice to some of the issues we are going to raise this very morning. And he's here to do that justice, and we promise that it's going to be what it is and what we promise it to be. Let's quickly begin by asking you, Honorable Barrister Christopher Prince, because he's a prince also. You may not even know, many of you may not even know that he is a prince. 56 years after the Biafran struggle for independence from the Nigerian Federation, what is the state of the journey by the Igbo ethnic group to become an accepted integral group in the Nigerian Federation? But from the look of things, there appears to be an outcast, even when people don't want to say it or profess it. There are those that will tell you that they can't be trusted with this, they cannot be trusted with that. What is that they have done or that groups haven't done? And that is one. And then if you look at those who are currently being suspected to be behind banditry, militia, and all that, is that not another civil war on its own creation? Because civil war may not be the time where a declaration is made and forces moving. Are we not also fighting another civil war the way things are? Let's get a thought on some of these issues.
Thank you, Dr. Mbeki. First, I thank you for being that plain, that the Igbo man is not accepted post the genocide that happened in his home. Even though some don't want to say it, I thank you for saying it. What happened to the Igbo ethnic group after the declaration of 30th May 1967 at Enugu was a genocide. History should be plain with it. 3.6 million people killed. It's not goats or chickens that were killed. In Rwanda, 820,000 people were killed in 100 days. They are still mourning them. Yet, every 30th May, Igbo people say they want to go and mourn their relations who died, that they did not see their corpse, they did not bury. Somebody will roll out police, soldiers, and say that Igbo people are threatening Nigeria. Is mourning a threat? It's not a threat. 56 years after the Igbo man was vanquished, forget the ego massage that General Yakubu Gowon gave, say no victor, no vanquish. It's a joke. The Igbo man was utterly crushed. The Igbo man was destroyed. The Igbo man was robbed of his money in Nigerian banks by the federal government that seized this money. The Igbo man was robbed of his property everywhere it was in Nigeria. And you say he was not vanquished. He was vanquished. Tell your children the truth. So 56 years after genocide was perpetrated on the Igbo race in Nigeria, they remain an outsider. They remain a pariah group. They remain people who are not openly admitted into the inner circles of states in Nigeria, except on the basis that they bring you in as a human being, that you will sabotage your own Igbo ethnic group. That is the only criteria that an Igbo man or an Igbo woman is used to brought into the powers of corridors of power at the central government. That is not integration. That is continuation of oppression by other means. Telling a man that he must betray his father's house, betray his brothers, for him to have a plate of food is godless. Let me stop at this point on this.
Well, we have seen the different statement made by Yakubu Gowon, because he was actually the principal actor in all of these that happened. And then we also looked at a book where he justified some of the decisions he made during that period. And we can go on and keep talking about these decisions which actually worsened or aggravated or even maybe brought some devastating effects to the war. But let's quickly look at it from another angle, because while we talk about his role, he's still alive as we speak today. He's still alive. But then we want to find out from you, because after the official cessation of hostilities by the Nigerian military in Igbo land, I want to find out the status of an Igbo man presently in Nigeria. But before you talk about the status of an Igbo man in Nigeria after the cessation of hostilities, I would also want you to look at some of the statements made by Yakubu Gowon in that his book, My Life of Duty and Allegiance. And if you look at that very book, an 881-page memo, which was officially presented in Abuja on May 19, 2026. Gowon explained why he wrote the book. He said it was to clarify his decisions and policies during the war and other major events of his administration, rather than to reopen old wounds from the conflict. He went further to say that why he created 12 states when issue of Aburi Accord implementation was being debated, because it was more like a slap on the faces of those who were in Aburi in Ghana for this negotiation. And the issues raised were more like what we are clamoring for today, restructuring, and then allowing the regions and also states to have some powers to take charge of certain internal affairs. Gowon said that one of the most important reasons why he created the 12 states on the 27th day of May 1967 was to protect minority ethnic groups within the region, particularly in the Niger Delta and Middle Belt, who feared domination by larger ethnic groups. That's his basis for what he did. But some people have countered him, saying that it was just to weaken the influence authority of the eastern region, not necessarily to protect the minority ethnic groups. So, because if you translate it, you wanted to give them some sense of belonging and for them to have their own say in their own issues, as if that they were not well represented in the Eastern Assembly and or in the Eastern Regional Government. And then he said that many Biafran, on the issue of Buri, that Ojukwu interpreted it differently. That was not what was agreed. That Ojukwu went on to rush, in fact, he went to the media and then said things. He said those things were never said during the accord. He used the word like confederation, that it was never mentioned. And it was also agreed that he wasn't going to be the one that was going to talk to the media, that he was going to talk to the media. But Ojukwu usurped that very privilege, according to him, to brief the media on what was agreed upon. But Ojukwu responded when he was alive that he was not forthcoming and there were signs that he wasn't going to do that. But rather than to kill what was agreed, it was better for him to let it out for people to know and for history's sake and for record's sake. But then, let's begin there, because we talked about no victor, no vanquished. But what is the current status of a Nigerian man since hostilities ceased?
Since hostilities ceased against the Igbo ethnic group, the Igbo man is suffering structural exclusion from Nigeria. The Igbo man is suffering economic blockade in Nigeria.
Economic blockade?
Yes.
By economic blockade, what do you mean?
There is no business in Igbo land that is enjoying any form of support from the federal government of Nigeria. The Igbo man is in the transport industry. The Igbo man is in manufacturing. The Igbo man is trading. What does the federal government do to support his business? The only vehicle manufacturing company in Nigeria, not vehicle assembly, is owned by an Igbo man. Please correct me if I'm wrong, those who have facts.
Okay.
How many pieces of innocent vehicles has federal government agencies bought?
Or
since
possibly
since that company started existing?
Or possibly any form of support in terms of credit facilities and so many other things.
Aside of the Nigerian military that have been doing tokenist patronage in their vehicles, should Nigeria government be importing vehicles in Nigeria when there's a vehicle manufacturing company in Nigeria? They are doing it because it is owned by an Igbo man.
Oh.
We should stop pretending.
No, I want to get something because if we look at what happened in the cement industry, some say that supports were given to Dangote and Bua. The same support was denied Ibeto, that he wasn't getting such support. But there are those who also have contrary views, saying that he was trying to change other competitors in the business using short corners, situations where he would unilaterally crush prices just because he wants to make more turnover, and other unwholesome business practices he was actually engaging in. That was what likes of Liko Dangote said. But even at that, are you aware that Dangote has announced that he will be starting car manufacturing any moment from now?
He is free to go into the business. He is free. When he enters, he will understand how the water is. On the Ibeto issue, it is easy to call a dog a bad name because you want to kill it. But when the owner of the dog also joins in killing his own dog, he's a fool. And I will say this. Ibeto, whatever he was accused on, please, can you show us documents of that unwholesome and unethical practice? Nobody has brought it out today except to shout what
that it was agreed that for you to have a cement industry, that you wouldn't be importing 100% of cement products into the country, that you must have a way to create local content, and by doing so you ensure job creation and so many other things. Not 100% and trying to crush price, undermining the effort of those who have put out such facilities in so many parts of the country.
Very beautiful grammar. You want me to run a cement manufacturing company on diesel engine generator? Will I survive? I won't survive.
But others are surviving.
Who? Because they were getting fuel from where? They were not paying taxes on the fuel. They were not paying taxes on the diesel. There was undue patronage of those people behind closed doors. The man was the only one whose own was going to the open market, and he had to survive. Business is war. People should stop pretending. Business is war. It's just the only people, nobody's fighting a gun. So when he saw that these people were having backyard patronage, what did he do? He did the simple thing people do in business. Cut your costs. Look for alternative market. Today, Cletus Ibeto, realizing that the biggest problem he had in cement manufacturing was electricity, went in search of electricity in Igbo land. And he found gas in Omase, in Ayamelum local government of Anambra State. Now, the traditional rulers of Anambra North and the ones in Ayamelum got together to try and get some people to come around and use that gas to create electricity. That was during the Winnie regime. Now, if they had done that, you would have had 7.5 megawatts of electricity coming out of Omase. But inside the Ministry of Power of Anambra State, people were whispering in the corridors of power in that place that if that project is allowed to happen, they were not talking about Ibeto, they've removed him from the equation. The expression was that the traditional rulers in Ayamelon local government will become rich. So it is now a sin for an Igbo man to become rich by doing business in Igbo land. Who is the real enemy? Ibeto was sabotaged from inside, but not from outside.
Ibeto was sabotaged by Igbos, not any other person. But
so
by
Igbos should be honest. Yes, it's Igbo people who sabotaged Ibeto. If Ibeto was doing any unethical practice as a company owner, who had access to that information? Is it not employees of his company? It's called insider dealing. So who leaked the information? Were they not employees of his company? These employees, from which ethnic group were they from? They're all Igbo people. That is why I said in the beginning that the biggest problem the Igbo man has is that he's excluded from the corridors of power. He's excluded from leveraging on national wealth to grow. So the only means he's allowed to come close is he's told that he has to sabotage his brother. So that sabotage has become a source of livelihood. Sabotage has become a source of income earning. Sabotage has become the only means the Igbo man is allowed to rise. That is why when you see Igbo people who rise very fast in government, other Igbo people run away from them. They know that they are saboteurs. Nobody goes near them. So an Igbo man in Anambra State does not want Anambra to have 7.5 megawatts of electricity because the traditional rulers in Ayamelum local government will become rich. And probably they will call Prince Christopher Moore, because I know one or two of them, to now tell me to do the legal papers and I earn my own 10%. And everybody's annoyed.
All right, because I want to also ask, because it's important, we are talking about economic blockade of Igbo region, because I'm asking the current status of Southeast since after the Civil War, because that's where we
Number
digress.
one, Southeast is suffering from infrastructure decay. There is no road network in Igbo land collecting the markets in Igbo land that is functional. Igbo land has 23 million people approximate population. And in Igbo land, about 20 million of these people don't have quality. Their brothers and sisters who have money to build houses prefer to go to Lagos, fill a swamp, and build house. So they can collect rent 6 million, 7 million. They go to Abuja, build house. So they can collect rent 7 million, 8 million. They will not come to build house in Onitsha because rent is 350,000 a year. So who made it unprofitable for the Igbo man to build house in Igbo land? Betin. The man producing wire in Ogun. Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, as president of Nigeria, brought electricity for him. So he produces wire at 90% below the cost of production for the man at Nnewi, who is running on diesel engine generator.
No, I want to ask you, because somebody has said this, and he said that it was the reason why they are not expanding, not necessarily the government. And his argument is very simple, that Igbo man finds it difficult to incorporate and also put up his business in Nigerian exchange market, where it will become a public liability company, as against being the sole owner. That Igbos, they will like sole ownership. That if you look at Aliko Dangote, businesses that are all quoted in Nigerian exchange market. If you look at Buan, his businesses are quoted. If you look at so many of them, the businesses are quoted, but they return the larger shares. But most Igbo people, the businesses are not quoted because they want to pass the business to their son, to their grandson, and in so doing, retain everything. And once you don't invest, you don't fund a business, you don't put more capital, you cannot go far. But once you open it up for more capital infusion, you can go beyond places. Why is it so?
That is a fallacy of reality. MTN is not a publicly quoted company, yet it is richer than the bank that is banking them. Why have they not gone public? The problem why the Igbo man and his company are reluctant to go on the stock exchange of Nigeria are three.
All right, please go on.
Number one, there is no functional stock exchange in Igbo land. The Onitsha Stock Exchange does not work. So if anything happens to his company, he has to travel 960 kilometers from Igbo land to Lagos, where there is a functional stock exchange, put up in a hotel at expense to just get something that in 5 minutes is attended to. When you're doing business, you count costs. So you don't seize control of the stock exchange in Lagos and tell me as an Igbo man to put my company on the stock exchange. Then the stock exchange that is in Onitsha, which will serve the Southeast region, is shut down. His Excellency Peter Gregory will put it up, but he never worked for one day. That's the first reason you don't see Igbo businesses in the stock exchange. The second reason why you don't see Igbo businesses in the stock exchange, most of the big Igbo businesses you see are running on bank loan. 90 days cycle, 120 days cycle.
Instead of running on a bank loan, why don't they allow people to invest? You talked about MTN, but I have been able to.
Are they now quoted?
Of course, they're quoted since May 2019. Of course, Beautiful. That was when MTN Nigerian Communication PLC was officially listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. That was on 16th of May 2019. Through a process known as listing by introduction.
Good. Since that listing has not gone on, thanks for the point. Since that listing has gone on, how many Igbo people you know have gone to the stock exchange and bought MTN shares? How many of them? How many of them? Go and try and buy it and see what will happen.
Because if you look at it, let me give you an instance. When MTN was officially quoted, of course, they listed about 20.35 billion ordinary shares.
Thank you.
At a market capitalization value of 1.83 trillion naira.
Good.
Let's assume likes of Innocent possibly ensures that his business is quoted on Nigerian exchange market, probably listing about 20.35 billion ordinary shares with a market value of about 4.something trillion. With 4.something trillion, he will break boundaries. But in doing that, you'll still retain the highest shares, because probably he may put out some about 30% shares, retain about 70% shares, and still have capital to expand his business, have his business even in Ghana and elsewhere. Yes. Why is he not doing that?
It can't happen. The point you've made is very clear. Before MTN was quoted on the stock exchange, they were richer than Diamond Bank that brought them to Nigeria. That was the point I was going to make.
Okay.
Now they are quoted. They are still richer than the banks banking them. But MTN business, which is telecommunication service, is not the same thing as manufacturing vehicles. If you go to quote Innocent Vehicle and Motor Company on the stock exchange, where is the market he's going to sell? What is his where is his competitors in
he's
that
going to look beyond Nigeria.
I'm coming.
Dominate the entire West Africa.
He will not put vehicles inside aeroplane and fly them to Uganda to sell. He has to take them over land. It is not economic. Unless he goes to Uganda and sets up a factory. He goes to Ghana and sets up an assembly plant. These things will fail. All the international vehicle manufacturing companies, watch them. Any continent where they want to come in, they come in with an assembly plant, bring in, knock down, and come in. I take the classic example every time. People look at Ford. It's an American company, vehicle company.
Yeah.
Ford almost went out of business until an American president came. I think that should be during Clinton, if I'm remembering correctly, and made it compulsory that every U.S. embassy all over the world will use only made in American vehicles. And they gave patronage to Ford. That was when the Cherokee came back in business. Today, where is Ford? It took that American patronage of Ford for it to come back in business. Is there Nigerian patronage for Innocent Vehicle and Motor Company? That is what the investor will look at when you quote Innocent on stock exchange.
But you know,
that patronage does not exist. Dr. In Igbo land today, Innocent is manufacturing vehicles. Do you know his highest two customers? Most people don't believe it. The most talked about governor in Igbo land, when people want to lampoon somebody, is governor of Imo State. But do you know that the entire security apparatus of Imo State uses only Innocent Vehicle and Motors? Only. Governor of Imo State buying vehicle made in Anambra. Go to Enugu State. Local government officials in Enugu State use Innocent pickup trucks.
You are talking about, Nigerian markets.
You want to put a company. Now, Anambra State, that is the host state, has about 6 or 7 Anambra indigenes who have commercial transport companies. Have you seen Innocent Vehicle in their fleets?
Producing commercial vehicles.
So, when you have passenger vehicles, you have logistics vehicles, companies that do passenger transport.
Okay.
Broadcasting rules say you don't start saying names, like advertising. But we know the common ones: ABS, GUO, Young Shall Grow, Trackers, and about 21 local governments of Anambra State. Each one has a transport company. Go and check those 21 local governments of Anambra State. How many of them are using Innocent Vehicles?
Now, but you're talking about
so
from
when
the
you
market
want
perspective.
when you want to list a company and I'm an investor, I want to bring 100 million into a business. I look at that.
No. I'm not talking about you bringing in money as an investor. I'm talking about shares ordinary Nigerians can buy, t-shirts, farmers, and things like that.
Buy it.
Many of them don't even.
Markets.
They may not even look at it because they feel that it's an opportunity for them to be a co-owner of the very business, because that's the area they are looking at, not really looking at it from the angle you are looking at. It's an investor who wants to bring in bigger money, maybe looking at it from the angle you are coming from. But we're talking about ordinary shares that people can easily buy, even people from the southeast.
There's no amount of money you will pump into a vehicle manufacturing company anywhere in the world that the vehicle manufacturing company will turn a profit without electricity.
That's by the way. Why is that?
Electricity.
Because you're talking about certain policies of governments that have not been favorable to Southeast or Igbo people.
Yes.
Because that's where you were coming from. Because we have got so much to talk about. I want also to ask you, why is that so many Igbo people, Igbo businessmen, find it difficult to go into PLC? Why?
You see,
I've seen, many of Igbo ethnic,
businesses,
places from Delta, from Rivers, they go into PLC. But those from Southeast here, they don't like going into PLC. Why?
Beautiful. Look at Igbo businesses that went into the stock exchange to raise funds. What happened? Those companies disappeared. The moment these companies,
I think the fear is that the government could take over the company by the time it is either maybe not keeping loan obligations or not keeping certain obligations or not even
that's what I'm getting to.
That the company may be taken over from them.
That's what
is
I'm
that the
getting
fear?
to. That's what I'm getting to. You beat a child and say the child shouldn't cry. I have a business. I need electricity. There's no electricity. I go into stock exchange, raise money, and buy bigger diesel engines. And then the generators keep breaking down. I can't keep manufacturing. I default on the bank loan. Amcon moves in, seizes my company. And the other Igbo man is watching it. Do you think he'll go to PLC? He will never try it. He will tell you, let his company stay and die in his house. So the lack of business support, genuine business support for businesses in the Southeast is one fundamental reason Igbo people owned businesses don't want to go near the stock exchange. 2, absence of infrastructure that enables industrialization to go on in Igbo land makes it difficult that these companies, that even when you raise funds and give them, they will not survive. Number 3, lack of access to leverage on national wealth. Every country allows its own people to leverage on national wealth to grow. What do you mean by national wealth? Nigeria is a country of 200 million plus people. There is nothing you bring out as food any day in Nigeria that will not be consumed 100%. But look at us here. You have about 200 to 300 bottled water manufacturing companies in Anambra where we are. Now, I once did a memo to the government of Anambra State. I said, sir, Anambra State has a growing business market for fast food restaurants. That these fast food restaurants use tissue paper. They use cleaning liquid to wash plates, scrub the place. They sell water. So, these 3 things. There are companies in Anambra State that produce tissue paper. There are companies in Anambra State that produce bottled water. There are companies in Anambra State that produce liquid soap. Allow the owners of these branded restaurants 100% pre-taxation deduction so that they buy made in Anambra liquid soap, made in Anambra tissue paper, made in Anambra bottled water. I sent that memo during the Willie Obiano regime. For 8 years, they were just passing it from office to office, writing up and down, going left and right. Today, they still bring bottled water from bottled water companies in Lagos and in Ogun. And it is sold in Anambra State at a price cheaper than the one produced in Anambra. Why? Because those businesses are broken even. But if Anambra State government during that 8 years gave that patronage to them, by now, you will not bring water from Lagos or Ogun to Anambra and sell it cheaper.
Let me ask you, because
that is denying them access to leverage on national.
Not having a functional port around Southeast, because you have talked about even Oguta Lake that is somehow not compromised to Atlantic Ocean, that something could be done. Do you think it is deliberate?
It is not deliberate. The Igbo man doesn't want to say the truth.
Why?
The Igbo man doesn't want to say the truth. The functional port, you don't need federal government approval to build a port. You don't need federal government approval to start an SPV company.
But the issue of port is under exclusive legislative
list. No,
now
wait now. When is it? This is brain job.
Okay.
This brain job.
Okay.
I want an international airport. I know you will not give me approval for it. I build an airport, international standard, and call it cargo airport, because I know your government will not give me approval. You give me approval for cargo airport. When your regime go, I will rename it international airport. Come and slap me. His Excellency Alex Oti is on TV, on social media. He built an airport and called it a bus terminal. People are smiling. Did he need approval? Let's go to the ports. In Ihiala local government of Anambra State, they have access to the ocean.
How?
They call it Orashi River.
I know Orashi is just a very small river.
I mean, it links.
Yeah.
It links. What you did is the link. The one in Iguta, separate them. You see, that one in Ihiala, during Winnie Obialo regime, some people brought investors to start an SPV, that is Special Purpose Vehicle Company, that will develop a port in that place, dredge that river, to open it, make it deeper, so that some class of, ships can come in. And the Willie Obiano regime called captains of business in Ihiala and asked them, you see this investor, they have only one complaint about your home: security for the people coming to invest and work. Now, that discussion for Ihiala people to provide security was on the table with the Willie Obiano regime.
Why wouldn't the state government provide the security?
Thank you. State government cannot provide security without the participation of the people whom it is in their home.
So they must cooperate.
The people in their home will be the first people
to cooperate
before this government can provide security.
I want to ask you, because we are looking at the economic aspect of what you say, that there seems to be economic blockade after the cessation of hostilities when the Biafran War was over. Remember, I'm going to ask you a question about the Victor no vanquish, if truly that is the case, and also the 3 R's: rehabilitation, reconstruction, reconciliation. If it was actually implemented, why were they not implemented? Of course, there's no point asking if they were implemented. They were never implemented. And the questions about why they were not implemented. Let's quickly wrap up the issue of the economy, because if you look at it, you say that from the facts we have here, there are about 50 million Igbos. There are about 50 million of them, according to CIA facts. There are about 50 million Igbos. But the question is, because we are talking about the economy, there seems to be least developed in terms of economy, because it was a once fastest growing economy. One of the, I think, fastest growing economies in the world post independence. But at the point, everything's stunted.
That is the economic blockade you saw.
So why is it so?
Beautiful.
If you go to Lagos, I was told that those who cover some part of Atlantic Ocean, the Lakey aspect, were Igbos. They were able to cover that area. In fact, they were able to build on the sea and a lot of things. If you go to Victoria Garden City, VGC, if you go to most of these very large places in Lagos, Igbos dominate. Ogun economy controlled by Igbos by 65%. Lagos economy controlled by Igbos. But down here, what is happening? Akulula philosophy is it not working?
Very simple. Akulula without electricity. Why is it cheaper for an Igbo man to go and fill a swamp in Lagos, build a house, and nobody will knock it down, or somebody will knock it down later? But he wants to come to Igbo land to build a house. Somebody will kidnap the engineer building for him. Is it done by Kanuri people? No, it is people in his home. Somebody will deliberately come and knock down his fence. Go to Umodom community in Okasa local government. People have run away from their homes. They divided an estate, brought people who bought, started building. Some people in that community organized jobless youth to start knocking down people's buildings. And they are running all up and down. Why is the Southeast made unattractive for investment? That is a consequence of 2 facts. The first fact is the destruction of the Southeast industrialization capacity across the year 1967 to 1970, when a war of attrition was waged on the Igbo land. The first oil mill built in eastern Nigeria was built in my home, Amoroki Ibe. It was built in 1935. Became operational in 1937. Okay? It was brought there because my grandfather, who was the king, was the only king that agreed to allow women to work in that place. Other kings refused. He said, no, women should work, that they help their family. Come to my home, let me show you that oil mill. It was bombed to nothing. It was bombed till today.
By who?
By the federal government of Nigeria and his army. It was reduced to nothing.
That was during the Civil War?
Yes. That oil mill never worked again. That was the beginning of poverty in my home. Okay? By 1980s, we had 3 big companies that were employing 150,000 people. Also the bottling company. Topaza Bricks again in my home at Ofi Yamuro. And Ezinachi Bricks. These companies in also the bottling company, the cashier in also the bottling company was paid salary that was higher than the salary of a lecturer 1 at Denimo State University, now Abia State University. Electricity cost us on the bottling to collapse. Electricity cost Topaza to collapse. Electricity cost Ezinachi to collapse. And those 150,000 employees, where did they go? They didn't vanish into the earth.
So where did they go?
They remained in Okigwe, unemployed. Their children stopped going to school.
And they became nuisance.
Those children, those are the nuisance you're seeing in Okigwe. They didn't come from the sky.
But then the same happens to some places in the northern region, because we have the all the manufacturing, the textile mill, so many of them went bankrupt, the fact collapsed. So it didn't happen just in the southeast alone.
I am landing now. So when this now happened, you now have those youths there. The political never do wells now armed them to start creating crisis in Imo State. The same thing you see in Olu, the same thing you see in Owerri. It is politicians that arm the jobless youth. Instead of giving them jobs, they found it easier to arm them. Now, you have finished arming them. They've done election toggery for you. You are now the governor. You are now the president. You are now the whatever you want to be. But you lack the mental capacity to solve the problem. So you will be their House of Rep member. You will be their legislator. You will be the senator. You cannot solve the problem.
So who is really the problem? Who is our problem?
Our problem is ourselves.
Not even the federal government.
The federal government of Nigeria has no business with the Igbo man's problem. The Igbo man is doing what we call externalization of blame, looking for blame in the federal government every time. Who caused Topaza bricks to collapse? Who caused drug manufacturing companies in Olo to collapse? It is Igbo people.
There's this very company I usually see when we're growing up along Onitsha, Enugu Expressway, close to Oborgo. There's a very big, I think, a brewery company, if I can still recall.
Premier Breweries.
It's comatose.
Who
gone.
it? It was Igbo people who were seen as successful business entrepreneurs that were now brought into the management of the company, and they simply liquidated the company. I went to school with somebody whose father worked in that company.
Premier Breweries.
Premier Breweries. So it was when the man came, the man who liquidated, when they came, the staff said after some time, it dawned on them that this people lack the mental capacity to manage this company.
So why can't we bring some of the functioning companies in Lagos, in Ogun? Because I understand the governor is building mixed industrial city along Aguleze Chukwu area, where a proposed cargo airport to be built, and with intention to lobby Igbo businessmen and women to bring in their businesses. Of course, he has also said that there will be investment in power to ensure electricity for this. But this area will be purely industrial area, trying to see if our brothers, because when I went to Ogun State, what I saw, I couldn't believe it. You know, some of these water system toilets, or they are produced in Lagos.
Yes.
They're not even imported. In fact, some of these ceramics we use in for plates, so many things, even most of these plumbing materials, these things are done in Ogun by our people.
Why wouldn't they
breakable
come?
Plates?
Why wouldn't they come? Electricity.
Is electricity in Ogun State?
Yes. Chief Olusegun Obasanjo understood it and brought electricity to Ogun. Anambra State, Imo State, Abia State, Enugu State. Each one has capacity to produce electricity. But what we see is that those in the corridors of power are afraid of people who are not the children of their sister, people who are not the children of their brothers, people like Prince Christopher Omo, who has a way of seeing money where nobody sees it, telling people who are not their friends how to make money, and then when they make money, I'll probably buy a private jet and fly around. So they are afraid of such people becoming rich. It is part of what is keeping us here. I told them, go and look at China, go and look at Japan. You have a solution to any problem of China. You're giving the leverage, you're giving the platform the Chinese to do what? To solve that problem for China. In Anambra State, in Imo, in Abia, in Enugu, in Ebonyi. If you don't have somebody in your family who is personally related to the governor, the deputy governor, the speaker, the chief whip, the minority leader, brother, forget going there to do business with them. Once they drop the memo and it goes into the civil service system, the civil servants are frustrating the governor. They are sabotaging the governor at state government level, at local government level. So if you don't have somebody who can always go to tell the governor, Your Excellency, ask the commissioner, this memo, he has not responded. That your memo will die inside the civil service laboratory.
All right, let's quickly ask you this question because we want to really be very fast with time. Do you think the federal government of Nigeria has done anything that can, be seen, or you can point to and say that they have genuinely made efforts to reintegrate the Igbo ethnic group into the Nigerian Federation? Is there anything you can cite and say, yes, that?
The federal government of Nigeria has not done anything genuine. You can point at and say, this is what they have done to reintegrate the Igbo man.
So Igbo nation has not been reintegrated into Nigerian affairs. The only thing that if an Igbo man becomes the president, it could be a way to reintegrate the region into the affairs of the country. That is one.
That is wishful thinking.
Oh, wishful thinking. Now,
Igbo man is not ready.
He's not ready to be the president of Nigeria.
He is not ready. We should stop pretending.
An Igbo man is not ready.
The 2027 election is do or die.
Okay.
If you're not ready to die, you will not win that
election. So you have to be ready to die.
If not, you will not win that election.
If you know, okay, now let me also ask you.
People don't like the truth, though.
The policy of 20 pounds. Who brought that policy? Why was that policy implemented? Giving people that had so much in the banks 20 pounds.
The policy was implemented as part of the economic strangulation of the Igbo man. And I think that was immediately after the war. Let me not be wrong with history. But it was implemented. They seized the money of every Igbo man. Until today, no Igbo socio-cultural group, no Igbo political group, no Igbo personality has asked the question, are Igbos not entitled to a return of their money as part of reconciliation and reintegration into Nigeria? What the federal government did, stealing the money of Igbo men, is robbery. Robbery.
Can they be sued?
They can be sued. But the Igbo man should not go to the court of Nigeria to sue them. For one reason. Under the laws of Nigeria, it is statute barred. We have left it for over 56 years. We cannot sue. But under the international conventions of the United Nations, the Igbo ethnic group can bring a case against the federal government of Nigeria, not for compensation. They should not ask for compensation, not for repatriation, but for refund of their money as at their bank balance standing on the day their money was seized. And when you want to refund that money, you refund it in the same currency value it had as at the morning it was seized. That is the beginning of genuine reintegration. The Germans were made to pay the same thing to the Jews. You kill 3.6 million people, seize their money, seize their house, and tell them shut up, that there was no victor, no vanquished. Who is deceiving who? And a man who did that for 47 years denied his biological son because he was born by an Igbo woman. The boy had to take him to court. And the same man says that in the Igbo, Nigerian forces were shooting on trees in Igbo land. Please let us unmask the masquerade. My father served in defense of Igbo land. He served as officer in charge of recruitment training and post in Biafran Army at Umukabi. He served as anti-aircraft officer for 13 Div of Biafran Army. He served as military intelligence officer with SDIV under Achuzia. He was at Itu Axis. And my father told me everything day by day of what happened in the war. And there were two things that stood out. When Alexander Madiebo now wrote his book, The Biafra Revolution, I bought it and read, thanks to my father. Every battle my father told me he was involved in as a military intelligence officer, the same story my father told me was what Madiebo recorded. So my father did not lie. My father told me about a young military officer then that came from the US that died during the battle in Itu Axis. My father was still mourning him until my father died at age 75, thereabouts. My father told me that when the war of attrition on the Igbo race ended, that he returned to work at Federal Palace Hotel where he was working. And an Egyptian who was in Federal Palace called him by name, Christopher Chukwu Mamuo. He was shocked. He turned, looked at the Egyptian, he couldn't identify him. And the man said, "You don't remember me. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Fauzi of the Egyptian Air Force. That I was a person who used aircraft to chase you. And you were running around a big Iroko tree. And I will be turning and trying to bomb you out of the Iroko tree, and you were running around." My father asked him, "How did you know?" He said, "I had your photograph in my aircraft. I knew when you left your military base and you were going." So the Igbo race is the only race in Africa that started a revolution, that started an attempt of secession that failed because of what? Sabotage.
All right.
So it is that sabotage that made the Igbo man fail in his Biafra revolution that has still kept the Igbo man down.
All right. Okay. You have been able to answer, the question of the issue of the pounds given, and then
they should return the money. 7 trillion.
7 trillion. That's the
not 777 trillion. That is the compensation.
The present valuation
of the money.
But Nigeria has no such money.
Nigeria has it.
Based on our GDP, we don't have such money.
Nigeria has the money.
No, where would they get it from?
Let them give us the money in installments.
The GDP of Nigeria is about $200 billion.
Nigeria can pay in the 777
but
billion.
that's by the way. What happened, in Ikwere speaking areas immediately after the war, where they began to change Umokoro to Rumokoro, Umola to Rumola, Umu Igbo to Rumu Igbo, Umu Okuta to Rumu Okuta. These things, we saw them, and we keep asking questions because though historians, they have two perspectives to this. Some argue that it started immediately after the Civil War. It's
Correct.
a way of trying to give a linguistic backing to this very people that Rumu has been an Ikwere, translation to Umu. Instead of Omo, they want to use their dialect to translate these areas. That is just one. And those who are of the view that it started around late 1950s, but it was not actually dominant. It was something that started as a wave. Two perspectives to that. But why did this happen immediately after the Civil War?
It happened because they had to differentiate themselves from the Igbo man who lost the war.
But they were part of Igbos, and also
Yes.
were part of the
They
war
had to,
themselves.
so that they could leverage on that they are not being seen as Igbo people to succeed in Nigeria. I'll give two examples. The first one, two names, Nzogu and Nzeegu. Major Chukuma Kaduna Nzogu is from Ela in Delta State.
Oh, yes.
Major Nzeegu is from Onitsha.
Okay.
His father's house is in Ubuli Road. He was the person that was killed by the Nigerian soldiers. They arrested him and killed him. And he was telling them, my name is Nzeegu, not Nzogu. It was after killing him, they realized they were holding the wrong man. The trauma of that thing is still on the family.
Okay.
Now, you take two names, Wog, Wike, Wabara. Wabara is in Abia. Wog is in Abia. Wabara has been a Senate person. Wogu has been a minister in Nigeria. Now, put N in front of those names. It becomes Wog and Wabara. Now, take the most trending name now in Nigerian politics. Inyesom Wike.
Onyesom.
Onyesom Wike.
So he removed Onye, then
So
started by Nyesom.
What is Onyesom? Who is with me? They say a man's name follows him. Onyesom Wike. Wike means the strong child. And people who are now fighting.
Wike means, son of a strong
man.
Okay.
The strong child. So people who are now fighting the son of a strong man and they're having difficulty throwing him in the wrestling match should know that a man's name follows him. So whether you want to agree that His Excellency Chief Nyesom Wike is an Igbo man, is story for another day.
But then
These people rose in post-war Nigeria by saying, I am not an Igbo man. I am an Ioma.
But then there are many there are many dialects in Igbo
language.
A lot of people will tell you we are not Igbo people.
Thank you.
Or when a man will tell you, I'm Owerri, I'm not an Igbo man. Onitsha man will tell you, I'm Onitsha, I'm not an Igbo man. Ikwere will tell you,
so who is Igbo man?
So he's Igbo man. That's
Igbo have an answer for it. In Igbo language, you say Igbo na suno.
But that's why the
Igbo speak in phonological difference.
The president of Hanese, he's from Ikwere, and then likes of Wike and some of the people that have been against him, saying he can't just be president of, where we are not part of or where we cannot subscribe to. And you said the reason behind the whole thing is political, no more, no less.
Nothing more.
They just want to have their political independence, so that whatever anger people have against those who lost the war should not be extended to them.
Simple. That's why I said you just deny being an Igbo man so that the Nigerian state will allow you to grow.
Having said that, I would also want to ask you if other regions, even Igbo man himself, has an Igbo man been able to reintegrate himself into Nigerian equation? Has he done that?
Yes.
What about other regions? Have they been able to facilitate reintegration?
All the regions of Nigeria are patronizing the Igbo man, encouraging the Igbo man to reintegrate himself into Nigeria. It is the Nigerian state
that has failed to do that.
That has failed to do it. The Igbo man trading in Kano, the Igbo man trading in Makudi, go and look at his customers. They are indigenous of that place. The Igbo transport companies, non-Igbos bought their vehicle. So the other Nigerians are doing their own to reintegrate the Igbo man. The Igbo man, by building houses in everywhere he goes in Nigeria, is reintegrating himself. But the Nigerian state as a state is not doing the same.
Now let me ask you, why do Igbos, when they move from one place to the other, they tend to build houses there? Is that not part of to conquer, to dominate?
No. The
Because
three basic
you
things of
move
man.
from here to Kano to Katsina to Samfara,
build a house.
you go there, you buy lands,
And
you
build
build a house. Is it not part of
It's
conquering?
not domination.
What is it?
It is satisfying the basic need of man for shelter.
Satisfying the basic need of man for shelter.
My brother, people are paying rent 7.5 million in Abuja. How many of us can afford it?
We can say that over 70% of buildings in Abuja are owned by the Igbo people.
Yes.
And same happens in Kano in most
And
places.
let me answer you now. It is owned because we made it unprofitable for them to come and invest in Igbo land.
Why can't they transform and translate this money used in building into industries?
You cannot do industry without energy. There is energy crisis in Igbo land. I have said it time and time again. You must not be the brother of the governor for you to solve the country's problem or the problem of the state. There's one engineer called Gudi Duroguzie. He's from Ami Igbo. He was the engineer that built the Amuro hydroelectricity water plant. All right? The guy graduated in first class. Japanese trained him.
Yeah.
But till today, that hydroelectric plant has been vandalized, burnt, and the man is still alive. He's only in his 70s. And everywhere I go, I keep asking, is it when Duroguzie dies that the Imo State government will call his corpse to come and revive Amuro hydroelectric, which can put 3.5 megawatts of electricity in the zone? Is it when Chief Cletus Ibeto dies that Anambra State government will now go and open Omasi gas and use it to create electricity? Is it when Batan Naji dies that Ebonyi State, Enugu State will call his corpse to come and replicate Osisiom electricity plant for us? Because he's not the brother of the governor, because he's not his in-law, and because he talks to Prince Christopher Moore. It should not be. Or because he hangs out with Olisambeki, Dr. Olisambeki at Udala Radio, where we say things they don't like to hear.
Do you think he was discriminate against themselves? There are those who tell you that I'm from Owerri, or he's from Umbise, or he's from Onitsha, he's from an Abakaliki man. I don't want to do anything with a Abakaliki man. I don't want to do anything with an Imbise man. I don't want to do anything with a Okigwe man. I don't want to do anything with Abia man. I don't want to do anything. But, there are things like this.
Man does not discriminate against himself. If you meet my children and ask them their name, the first thing they will do is they will tell you, I am Prince, or my daughter will say, I am Princess Chioma Mwo of Amuro Kingdom. She is not oppressing you. She's telling you her identity. I am Emeka Okonkwo of Mbise. He's telling you his identity.
But we saw what happened.
Is proud.
No. We saw what happened in
We saw what
happened
so
in.
it's not discrimination.
No. We saw what happened in Ahihara Diocese. Excuse me. Where a bishop was rejected because he's from Anambra State, and they said that they are not going to allow him to be the prelate in that very area. Is that not discrimination?
Yes, it's not discrimination.
Is it politics?
It's not politics. It is patronizing your own. The Onitsha man has an expression for it. Onyuna soccer, that the person from home is very sweet. My brother, when your brother is the bishop of the Catholic Church in your home, it is sweet.
Let me tell you.
Please let him
hold on. The Catholic Bishop of Lagos Diocese, I think he's from Ogun State.
Beautiful.
But then why didn't the Lagos Diocese say, no, it must come from Lagos? But why would we do things like this? Why do we
do things like this?
But if you look at it, the Catholic Bishop of Benin Diocese is an Igbo man. The Benin people allowed him, accepted him to be their bishop. Yes. But Ahira people, the Mbise people, never accepted an Anambra man to be the bishop. Is that not discrimination?
It is not discrimination.
Because others are accepting you, but you don't want to accept yourself.
No.
That is what it is.
No, it is the adverse effect of what? Marginalization. One of the adverse effects of marginalization in human society is that it makes people to practice what we call reverse discrimination.
Oh, it is reverse discrimination?
Yes.
But it is discrimination.
But it's a reverse.
A reverse
you
form.
now discriminate against yourself. You become afraid of people who are not like you. All right? When we went to Ahara and you were seeing that thing happening, it is not because the Anambra man has done anything wrong. No, sir. It is not because the Ebonyi man has done anything wrong. No, sir. The Mbise man feels that he has contributed so much to the Catholic Church in Nigeria, in his home, that small position left, can we have a sense of belonging? It is the same thing that is making other Nigerians running around saying, bring somebody from this ethnic group or that ethnic group so that they can be the president, so that those people have a sense of belonging. So that thing you saw was the adverse effect of marginalization. It is not discrimination. When you start accommodating people in your home, that thing will disappear. It does not disappear overnight.
Well, I remember one thing for sure, that before even immediately after the Civil War, during the 80s, the governors we had in the Eastern region, of course, they did wonders trying to put Igbos on the world map. But it seems that a lot seem not to be going on well in Eastern Nigeria. But then all of a sudden, we saw cries of secession again, people trying to embrace Biafra, knowing fully well that it never worked before. And so many things happened, and a lot of factors made it not to work.
And those factors are still present.
And those factors are still present. And at that point, the Igbos were together, united. But now that unity seems not to be there again. Why would some say that it may work now?
It won't work.
Because we know for sure that, because likes of elders, many of them have come out to say it never worked then. When it was easy for it to have worked.
No, you can't. It's harder.
You think Trump, you think these people will help you?
No, they won't.
Even when you had the whole oil. Bayelsa was part of Eastern region, Cross River was part of Eastern region, Akwa was part of Eastern region, Delta was part of Eastern region, and they had the entire oil of a nation where it could have been used to really negotiate, they
refused to negotiate.
It was something they refused. Think now that after all these divisions, and remember what the Gowon said, we did this to protect minorities, but it was done to make sure that there was never going to be that unity again. But by the way, why do some people believe, wrongly or rightly, that it's going to work now? And they are hoping towards that. What do you call that?
It's called political escapism.
Political escapism, that's what you're calling that?
Yes. When people fail in politics, they create infantile stories of delusion and grandeur to titillate the senses of their followers. It is part of politics. When you get into politics, you realize you have to make people to keep dreaming for them to be around you. Then you now ask, why was it that the people who ruled in the Shehu Shagari regime in Igbo land, people like Jim Obodo and De Simon Bakwe, could do all those things they did? Go and look at the quality of people they had around them. Look at they themselves. Simon Bakwe, most people don't know, had a first class in economics before he studied law. Simon Bakwe used to come to my family house. I was a 9-year-old kid when I met Simon Bakwe. He will come with only 2 people in his vehicle, white 504. Him, the driver, and the Agric extension officer. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, what did he come to do? He came to see my uncle. My uncle was encouraging the people to now diversify in agribusiness by going into cocoa. We were already doing rice. He now wanted us to go into cocoa. So the Agric extension officer will come with him, and my uncle would explain the challenges they had going into the cocoa business.
Okay.
So in one of the instances, I happened to be home, and I came to see my uncle, and I saw the man sitting down. I looked at the photograph on the wall, looked at the man sitting, whimsically. I was like, hey, that's the guy in the photograph. So that's the governor. So I kept quiet as he was talking with my uncle. We were eating oba, spiced with okporoko, that is stockfish, and some dried fish and serious palm wine.
You really enjoyed that period?
Seriously.
Enjoyed?
Seriously. And then the cola nuts were there. So when he was talking, at the stage I said, sir, can I ask you a question?
What did you ask him?
He looked at me and said, yes, go ahead and ask. I asked him, what makes you to believe that this cocoa business you're telling my uncle and people to go into will work?
What? Okay.
At 9 years old, he looked at me and smiled. He said, if you are afraid to to try something new, you will never grow.
You will never grow. All right.
So that kind of governor today, how many governors in Igbo land can talk to little children? Professor Choludo tried though. He was talking to one 4 or 5 year old girl. People didn't know that was my daughter. She stopped him to ask him questions.
Oh, he stopped your daughter?
Yes.
Randomly?
He came for an event. She saw him, walked up to him and said, I want to ask you a question. I won't tell you what they said. So, and he could talk to her. Can the governors of the other Igbo states talk to little children? Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, as president of Nigeria, was talking with little children. A governor of a state who doesn't have humility to listen to other people, you know, because they cannot talk to children.
All right, we are actually completely, against time, or we are running against time. We are going to put the phone lines. Remember, this is Crossfire on Udala 104.7 FM Onitsha, and we are here with Prince Christopher Omo, a constitutional lawyer and also a development expert and consultant as well. He is here. We've been asking Igbo questions. Why this? Why that? Why not this and why not that? A lot of things are being, put in the open. There are people that are being entrapped with different contraptions, and they dance and swile in this contraption, believing or thinking that it's going to be an escape route. I said political escapism. Remember that very word. We are going to take some moments and then open the phone lines and allow you to come in and then enjoy. I know many of you have been enjoying the discussion so far, and we have asked a number of questions, we have raised a number of concerns and why these things keep happening. But then, can we learn? Can we really go back to drawing board and be that people God has curated us to be, and then put that very talent we have, not talent of Igbo Mado Shandom, but then that is just that. Let's quickly take a moment. We'll be right back. 104.7 Udala Radio.
Bioferox. Something big is happening at Ekwulimmiri Town Hall, Awada Obosi, Onitsha, Anambra State. An opportunity to maximize health, financial growth. Bioferox International is a maker of Bioferox organic products, which include Bioferox Beta, Fiber, Circulate, Joint Support, Adam's Prostate, Male and Female Enhancer, Outlook. Come and enjoy free medical lab tests for first 20 persons to help you understand your health status. Date: Sunday 8th June 1 p.m. and Monday 9th June 12 p.m. In Bioferox, we have many combos like Immune Boost Combo, Men's Vitality Combo, Women's Wellness Combo. Bioferox, your home for wellness, vitality and business opportunity. For more inquiries, call 0802 559 1575 or 0803 562 4043. Be there.
104.7 Udala Radio.
Let's quickly bring you in, and then for those of you who may want to drop their message, please go on. I would also want our elders, those who saw the war and those who saw the post-war, to come on and make their points. Pick up that very phone, dial that very line, 0803 221 6973 or 0803 827 6694. We're gonna give a minute, please. I know many of you would like to talk more, but we're gonna give just a minute, and that will do it for us. Please, let's stick to time. Good morning, you're welcome. It's good to have you.
Morning, Dr.
You should go away from the radio.
Please go away from the radio.
You're not a radio, go away from it.
All right.
Very good morning to our guest, Barrister Christopher.
Please go away from the radio.
Very good morning to you.
Hi.
All right.
It's hot in the ears. You should go away
I
from the
thank
radio.
you very much for this your wonderful analysis this morning. Dr. Tony, this is the kind of people that we always like to have in our state, not somebody who are so emotional. And the other time you brought somebody from that Imo state, the person you call, what is that name? Is that Ijele or something of that nature? And somebody that eradicates us who not even understand. Somebody that you know that is there for a very, very ugly mission against Igbo. You brought him to insult us in our face, turning everything upside down about Igbo.
We're not discussing his regime. We're not discussing his regime.
I was talking about somebody else, not you.
Okay.
This is a kind of person,
not you.
well-informed analysis this morning. The book that you read from the Alexander Madibu, I still have it in my library here.
Thank you.
And I read it. That is a very, very comprehensive record of what happened before the war, during the war, and so on and so forth. That is the clear record of the whole thing. Because the person that recorded it saw it all because he was the first commander of Nigerian Infantry Division. And then I become the commander of the Afghan Army throughout the war. You know the day-to-day activities, what transpired during the war. So I have it. And
All right, quickly, because of time.
The question. Thanks, sir.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
On the issues of this thing, the problem with us and the politicians that we have, our problem is our politicians. If you ask me, I will tell you that Igbos are one people. They are united. They love themselves more than any people in the world.
Thank you.
There is no comparison with Igbos.
So you mean politicians are the one dividing Igbos?
Yes.
You don't need to ask Igbos. The reason why we don't have industry here, and I know that everybody knows about it, not necessary all this that is happening. Number one is that we are disadvantaged over land, and the land to build bigger industry.
All right, thank you so much. We have to let you go because of time. When we say stick to time, we are serious about it. Please allow others to come in. Let's go back to the phone lines. All right, because we have I picked 2 calls that time because the calls we are coming in a torrent.
Questions, please.
All right, please go on. Good morning. You're welcome.
My chief Atolo,
You're welcome.
good morning, Prince.
Good morning to you.
I thank you so much for bringing Prince. Honorable Denzel, Mayor, Okuchukume, JB, Ukurola, Otendo, Nodi. And I go on.
Please go on. You have the
This
floor.
is the type of people that we need in this radio. And you can see now, history. He knows the history. And this is one of the reasons the federal government of Nigeria after the war ended history in the universities. Because they don't want us to know. But I want to ask him. He said that we are the cause of our problem. The people that their money was seized, their house were seized, they have no way to start again. By the grace of God, they start again. How do you want them to build all those things they are building? Let me tell Igbo people one thing.
Okay.
We are just succeeding because of God. Because of the type of name, like he said, that our name of a person follows him. We answer Chukuma. Like my name is Okuchuku. We answer Chinemere. We answer Chinyere. These names we are answering. It's the name that applies government. Go to Israel. Like I said, I have gone to Israel. You see any Israeli person, the name must attach to God indeed. And that is why Igbos, go and look, all those regions that join to fight Igbos, go and see what is happening to them now. But the people that supported Igbos, go and see how.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have to let you go at this point. Please stick to time. And then he asked a question: the whole thing seized during the war. How do we get it back? How did we get it back? And how were these people able to also, take up from the pieces they were actually left in? A very big question there. Please, let's stick to time. I also want everybody to go to our Facebook and drop a comment. I would also want to read a comment. Good morning, you're welcome. It's good to have you.
Good morning, my speaker.
You're welcome. It's good to have you.
I am Comrade
Eric Obama.
You're calling from where?
From Amaba.
You're welcome. Please go on.
I thank you very much, Speaker, for this man that you brought to the station. May God bless you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
This is the type of people we want to be bringing your station. People who have actual facts, who are patriotic Igbos. The man spoke everything my father told me about the war, because I was born.
Thank you.
I was born in 1969 during that war. So he said what he said was true. This is what we want. Our problem is the politicians. It's our problem. If I should call them the tax master, like in Egypt, the Israelites, they have the tax masters who are supervising them. So maybe the one we have here in South Africa, they don't want us to do. I'm doing a small scale work here, maybe technician. But I'm carrying the house. Because there is no job. See, the tax we are paying here, maybe it's too much for us. They are also good. I live in the North Midway. How much are we paying them when I'm in the So the problem we have here is our politicians. We have known that. I don't think we can have people like Mbappe and Wozi again. Mbappe built the first power station in my own Taranga. But every governor, sorry, we are still seeing the case of Mbappe in Imo State today. Our God, show me better, please. Always bring this type of people. Not that man that they was talking about. That man is.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, thank you so much. I don't know why you people are bringing Ijele. You know, there was a man who brought Ijele Speaks. You know, he came here, you know, and made his own point, and some may not find it funny. Okay, good morning. You're welcome. It's good to have you.
Hello, good morning.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this Sunday coming from a blog.
You're welcome, Sunday.
I disagree with that guest here for one thing.
Okay.
That of Paradise is pure discrimination, which I have never.
You know, he called it reversed discrimination. That's the word he used. Reversed discrimination. That's his own word. But you are saying this is not reversed. It is pure discrimination. Go on.
Pure. Let me tell you, before you join any system, you need to know their rules and regulations. And Catholic, or even
we are not talking about from Christian. We are not talking about from Christian perspective. Hold on.
We are not right.
Sunday. We are not talking from Christian perspective. I asked him a question, and I said, the bishop of Benin Diocese is an Igbo man, but the Benin people accepted him to be their bishop, Catholic bishop, and that of Nassau, an Igbo man. They accepted him, but here in Ahira, Mbise, an Igbo man from Anambra State, he was rejected. Why?
Let me repeat my answer. I said it is a consequence of marginalization over time. It produces reverse discrimination. Discrimination is an English word. Type it on Google, then type reverse discrimination. Reverse discrimination means when you are discriminating against somebody of your own socioeconomic group or somebody of your own ethnic group. An Anambra man is an Igbo man. An Ahera Mbise man is an Igbo man. So when an Ahera man is discriminating against an Anambra man, in sociology, it is called reverse discrimination. When the Pangshin man is discriminating against the Brass man, it is discrimination in sociology. The words are English language words.
All right, let's Sunday, let's go.
Thank you.
Hello.
Ask a question, please.
We don't need to discourage that. We don't need to encourage that. Not good.
Ask a question, sir.
All right, he said that it is not good, that it must be discouraged, that even the reverse discrimination as a result of long marginalization must be discouraged.
I also agree.
Our people should find a way to accept their people. We would want him, Mbise man, to be a bishop here in Anambra State. We'd also want an Abia man or a Abakaliki man to be a bishop, not just in area of religion. It could be in area of politics. Why is it that I cannot go on if I've lived in a Bonny State, in a Abakaliki for, let's say, 20 years, I cannot contest election there and win? But people are contesting in Lagos, winning in Lagos. But let's go back to the phone lines. Good morning. You are welcome.
Yeah, good morning.
You're welcome.
Good morning.
Let's have your name. Where are you calling from?
Open up from Onitsha.
Oh, go on, please open up. There's no time.
I just want to add to what you were saying there about Igbos. So what I think is that we Igbo, we forget what we really are. And we are outside for another thing that we are not. That is why we have been like this inside Nigeria. We don't know what we are really are.
All right, thank you so much. You are saying that we don't know what we are really. We have to define ourselves first before we want definition from any other person. Let's go back to the phone lines. Good morning. You're welcome. It's good to have you.
Hello.
You're welcome.
Yes. Good morning, my brother.
You're
Good
welcome.
morning. Thank you. Your name and where you're calling from.
What's your name?
Your
and
name.
where you're calling
And
from?
where you're calling from.
All right, I think your line is not even clear, and then it's clumsy, and we're asking for your name and where you are calling from. You have to do that first.
It's a wonderful morning to
Good
the
morning.
speaker himself, Sambeki.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Yes, at the studio,
Thank you.
you're highly welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, we appreciate your position. Honorable Dike bringing from Onitsha.
You're welcome, DK.
Yes, we appreciate the guests. They have done well. You, the speaker, you did a very nice job interview this morning. Breaking it down, I just want to say that one thing that is constant in life is change. The only area I just want to talk is on whether we can actualize Biafra or not. But I know it was from our own conversation, we can say it's easier then. But I still believe that anything can still come up because the way things is going in Nigeria, Igbo man is completely excluded. And irony of it all is that our representatives, if I should say, they have been bought over or they are shy, they can't stand up to defend the Igbo race. I think Governor Oti of other states is trying to, I don't know whether the federal government can give him an approval of a seaport in Azumini. He's doing a marvelous job there. So if the 5 eastern governors can come together, it's just the same issue of sabotage. I don't know why we don't believe in ourselves. I don't know why we cannot come together as a bloc. If the southeastern governors can come together and say, federal government, give us international airports, give us a seaport, and they stood by it, not minding party where you come from, whether you are from party A or party B.
That is
okay?
regional
the common
interest.
should be that this thing is needed in this zone. We need one extra state to make it up to these geopolitical zones, just like other people have. These are things that our representatives should sit up and do. And these are what, triggers the youth to go into agitation.
All right.
This is what Nnamdi Kanu was complaining about.
Thank
So
you.
all we are trying to say is that our representatives, our governors, senators, members of House of Reps, let them not think that this is business as usual.
All right, thank you so much.
We wish our son a very successful run come 2027. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. I'm going to come back to that because there's a point you made.
What a very wonderful day.
Good morning, you're welcome.
Tony Sambeki,
You're welcome.
may God bless you. Right honorably, said you are calling from Amato Matayasa State. Do I go on?
You're welcome. You're calling from Bayelsa State. Please go on.
Hello?
Hello.
Go on.
Do I go on?
Yes, please go on.
Dr. Tony Sambeki, my name is Ishe Koma. As I said earlier, I am calling from Amato Matayasa State.
Please go on.
Permit me to tell us one thing about your guest. As a matter of fact, in my own opinion, he is neither here nor there. I couldn't believe when I heard from you that he's a lawyer. Please, our dear guest, let me ask you this one question because it appears you are particular about the Igbo unity and Igbo non-unity, not being united.
Go on with your question.
So ask the question, sir.
So this seaport was you being withheld by the Igbos?
The what?
The Onitsha seaport,
Onitsha Seaport.
sometime 1983.
Uh-huh.
So, the implementation of that seaport.
Okay.
Up to today, nothing has been done about that seaport.
Okay.
Who put that seaport? Was it bought by an Igbo man?
Okay.
Calabar seaport was it created by an Igbo
Calabar.
man?
Okay.
My son is an importer. He imports all the way from China and will bypass Bayelsa State here I'm living. And travel on the way to Lagos for it to be cleared. Was it done by an Igbo man? And by the way, Mr. Speaker, please answer this particular question. Do you believe in the IPOB?
Wow.
Barrister Mo, do you believe in the IPOB?
Don't
Good morning.
All right, thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Please,
And then
let's
he
start.
asked 2 questions.
Yes.
I want you to note down there. He asked if the Onitsha Seaport was it frustrated by Igbo man. They also asked about the Oguta Seaport, was it frustrated by Igbo man? And Calabar Seaport, was it frustrated by Igbo man? And you talked about if you believe in I think IVOB is a particular group on its own. So, there are many groups.
Yes. So number one.
But no, you're gonna answer that because we have many callers on the line. Good morning, you're welcome. It's good to have you.
Hello.
Good morning. Your name and where you calling from?
I'm calling from Papa.
You said your name is Baimutu.
Are you there with me?
Say a real name now, not nickname.
So I know you can hear me, but the man in the studio is really an evil man, and I can see the blood in him. I want to ask you, do you think that the people in 2 months hold their life?
I can't hear you.
We can barely hear you. We can barely hear you, and we cannot allow this precious time to slide to slide. Please. Try again. Your line is not clear.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're welcome. It's good to have you. Please go on. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning to you. My name is Mario K. Calling from Onitsha.
You're welcome, Mario K.
Well, what I will tell in conclusion to Nigerian government and everybody listening to me, until they accept Igbo man, if they want to forge ahead, if they want this country to go far, more than every African country, Igbo man must be included. If they tell themselves the truth will set them free. Then on the side of Bishop of Ira and all that, I have argued this a number of times with Mr. Speaker. But no matter how anybody want to see it.
You're from NBC now. So
yes, I'm a pure NBC man.
Okay, all right, please defend that very decision.
I will defend it to any level.
And then you are discriminating against an Igbo man.
Don't tell me. Mr. Speaker,
you are discriminating against an Igbo man.
Or reverse discrimination.
Hold on. Benin man accepted NBC man. Please go quickly because of time. Please. Thank you. Please allow me to say. All right, please go.
I want to ask you, Mr. Speaker.
Please go.
In other places where you are, how many times and maybe a Nigerian man, when the British or maybe the people that brought religion to us left Anambra State, how many Enugu or any place in Anambra State in Nigeria have been bishop of Anambra State? Can you tell me?
All right, that's the question.
Now, you are talking about a town that have almost the highest priest in the whole committee.
All right, let's not take us into that religious argument. That's not what we are talking about. No. He's taking us into religious calculation. We are not in for that. We are talking about Igbo man accepting an Igbo man. That's what we are saying. Not because of anything. Not because of this point. No. Igbo man accepting an Igbo man, irrespective of the condition. That is what we are saying.
Thank you.
So let's not be deviated. You can't defend what is indefensible. You know. Good morning. You're welcome. It's good to have you.
Hello. Good morning, Mr. Mbeke.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Good morning to your guest, Emeka, speaking from Onitsha.
You're welcome, Emeka.
See, tell me, Mr. Mbeke, Igbo man is wise. Igbo man is intelligent. Igbo man is hard, very strong. But Igbo man is the runner of himself. Follow runner of himself. We are the problem of ourselves, Tony Lisambeke.
Okay.
Tony Lisambeke, if truly we are doing the knowledge that God has given us, if we are foreigners coming to Nigeria, travel around our land, Yoruba land, Igbo land, you say that this is not one country because Igbo land will be massively developed. Look at what Sambapa did when they were calling him whipping governor. What is the present governor doing? A professor for that matter. You understand me? So we are the problem of ourselves. We need total reorientation.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's quickly go straight to our Facebook. We have calls, torrents of calls coming in, and we appreciate all these calls. But then let's quickly take some comment from Facebook. Eke Gunners, okay. You are saying good morning, Dr. Tony Olisam Becky, Chimezie Stephen, greetings all. God bless you all for the good work. Tony, God bless you for inviting the guest. But I think you need to invite him and the Jele side by side so that both of them can, do the whole argument. Okay, Austin Ezudo, he says a very wonderful morning to you in the studio, my honorable speaker, Tony, Lisa, and Becky. I think I agree with the position of our guest when what he envisaged, that Igbo man should be ready to die if he wants to be the president of Nigeria, because 2027 election is do or die. It is obvious. Okay, you said quite a lot of things, because he said he's agreeing with you when you say that let nobody deceive you that 2020 is
2027
is never do it. But remember, we cannot preach violence. Do or die does not
mean, an expression.
Does not mean violence, please. Please, because there are those that will take it on to mean that it is violence. No. That means you must be ready. You must be ready
to stand your ground.
To also to defend your votes.
And defend your votes.
You must defend your votes. All right. Wonderful morning, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what occurred in May 30th, 1967 to 1970 is not a war, but it was a calculated genocide and a pure hatred against the entire Igbo people. And up to date, Igbos are still being isolated and marginalized on a daily basis, economically, politically, and many more. You see quite a lot of things there. Okay, there are so many other ones. Sage, Humphrey, Udenze, good morning, Mr. Tony. I want to make a plea. Can we always have the guest here on this program every Saturday? Can the guest be here? He's very enlightened and eloquent too. Please, Mr. Speaker, can you be bringing him every Saturday? Oh, that's Sage, Humphrey, Udenze. Okay, making a plea. Maybe he's going to answer that. And then we have John Umwe. It's wrong to say that the Oluman goes about denying that he is not an Igbo man. This is a lie and propaganda from the pit of hell. Begin should please apologize for this misinformation. I think, John Umwe, you don't have problem of listening, and I've seen that in your comments. We said if and it's an if condition. If condition. We are saying that the Kwere people are doing this, and this person is doing this. If Oluman goes on to do it, if Abakaliki man goes on to do it, then who is now an Igbo man? That was the question. But you did not understand the way it was framed. But please try and listen very well. That's all I can say. Obi Beke, this morning, she says, good morning, sir. Modern Dominic, I'm watching from Japan. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. And we appreciate the fact that you're watching from Japan. And just like we said, it's about 49 minutes than the hour of 6 p.m. in Japan. That's where you're watching from. Okay, Jennifer Sunday, freedom is what we really need in this country. Let Igbos have tried to come back and have developed their own side. That's your own comment. Priest here. Good morning, Honorable Speaker. And the barrister, I'm really educated today by the questions and response. Oh, thank you so much. You're appreciating us. And there's so many other this in. I can call the names Samson Ifani, Enechukwu Adeniyi, Christian Onyedeka, and there's so many I cannot even mention here. There are so many of them here. Because of time, we have to manage time. Yes. It has been explosive, as we promised you. When we started slowly, but over time we instead of the whole thing, All right, let's quickly address some questions. There are so many questions people asked there. At least somebody who called in from Bayelsa State asked very important question. The Calabar port, the Onitsha port, the Onitsha dry port, and also Kuta Lake. Were they frustrated by Igbo man?
Thank you, sir. I will start. Inland port was not frustrated by Igbo man. It was neglected and it lost. Uguta seaport, the same thing. It was not frustrated by Igbo man. The Calabar seaport, like I always say whenever I come on air, if things are going wrong in Ogbomosho, the Igbo man should shut his mouth and allow the Ogbomosho man to talk. I am an Igbo man. Allow Calabar man to talk about Calabar seaport. My response. Then believe in IPOB or any of these groups existing. Our Igbo brothers and sisters should please learn that freedom of expression has limits. The first limit is the law of slander. The second is sedition. You don't, because you want to hear your own voice on air, say things that will end up putting you into prison. As a lawyer, I advise you to please mind the sort of things you say on air. To ask me if I believe in this or believe in that, this is a public platform. Such things are not to be said under the broadcasting law. To answer your question of what I believe in any group you asked about is to offend the broadcasting law of Nigeria. And as a lawyer, I will not engage in that. Then on the wonderful people who said if I can come here every Saturday, that would be beautiful, but you now ask, what do I do for a living in Igbo land? I have children who go to school. I have to work. I had to work for 2 months offline with Dr. Becky for me to be here today.
Exactly.
We don't just show up in studio. We do our research, we come. So if we do it every Saturday, we'll not be able to do quality work
As we have done today.
Which is what we've done today. So we'll be coming as far as life. On the Saturdays that it works, will come. But remember that for us to come in the studio and put up this sort of outings, it's research. We don't just come here and talk. But I thank you, and I'll ask my children, Chioma and Adife, if they will allow their father to come on studio every Saturday. If they agree, then I'll be here. If they say I should sit at home and do homework, then we'll do homework. But that's on the jocular level. Then on the issue of, how do you get back the seized properties? I said plainly, please do not go to any Nigerian court. Not because there will be injustice against you, but because the Nigerian law has a law called Statute of Limitation. When you leave land matter for 12 years, you can't sue again. So if you go to Nigerian court and sue, you've just lost the case before it has started. All right? Then, but if you go under the international conventions, you can ask for repatriation. And as Dr. Mbeki has pointed, he said Nigerian government cannot afford the money. And I said no, the Nigerian government can pay Ndibo 77 trillion. That's 777 trillion. Nigerian government can pay it as compensation. They will not give it in one day. They will not give it in cash. All right? They give it gradually.
Who are they going to give it to? Are they going to give it to the state government or the families involved?
Never.
But if that we have to be considered, but I know it's a likelihood. In fact, it's unlikelihood.
No, the only money you're going to give are to three people. Number one, those who had bank accounts.
In those days?
Credit their money back. Their next of kin will get letters of probate and take the money. Two, those who own properties that were seized, mostly in River State. Value the property and pay compensation to the next of kin who are alive. Three, those who produce evidence that a certain member of the family was existing as a human being on earth, and after the cessation of hostilities, the person ceased to exist. You pay compensation to those families. The other part of the fund will be used for education, healthcare and infrastructure development, not giving the money to wayfarers in the corridors of power. No, sir. It will not happen. That is not compensation. Then on the question the gentleman asked, he says, actualization of Biafra and the 5 Southeast governors' issue of development. I'll keep saying this question anywhere I go. Without economic power, you cannot have political power. Ndị Igbo should stop discussing infantile delusions and go to develop economic power. It took China 50 years to develop the economic power that made China to now talk politically. Please, there is no economic power in Igbo land. Buying and hawking goods from China and Korea and all over the world is not economic power. Economic power is industrialization, manufacturing.
We have to go into massive. But you say something about electricity that is going to be very difficult if we don't even invest in that area.
So, Igbo people that have money should come home and invest in electricity. It is money.
They should invest in electricity. And start trading electricity, generate, distribute.
Yes. Let me give you an example of what money in electricity looks like. That was why somebody went mad and said Mo is telling the Igwe of Ayamelum to become mega rich. If you had lifted the gas in Omase and used it to produce electricity, you have 7.5 megawatts of electricity.
In waiting.
Yes. Now, if you pay the people of Omase 100 naira per watt in 7.5 megawatts, that means that every morning Omase people wake up, they own 75 million.
But you know that a lot will go into the state government because
the state government is not entitled to that 100 naira, my brother.
But then you know what? But
no, when that money comes, another state government has its own tax on the company. The 100 naira wattage is the right of the owner of the place.
According to the derivation principle,
yes, it's not derivation. It's a right of existence. You don't come to my home.
But it must be legislated now.
They don't need legislation, sir.
But if you do it, that nobody will buy that idea. It must be legislated.
That is the only way a businessman will come. Well, if you do it, you have electricity that place. The company pays company tax to federal government. The company pays land use charges to Anambra State government. The company pays tariffs to Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission. The company enters into an agreement with the community.
We're completely out of time.
And that is it.
All right, we must
thank you all.
Quickly, I don't know if I have any other one quickly because of time.
Then the last one, the 5 Southeast governors, they cannot come together because they don't belong to the same political party.
All right, that's what you think. Well, but then we always preach that regional interest must and always override political interest and personal interest and congregational interest. Regional interest must always override this.
I hope that it comes in Igbo.
All right, maybe because if you go to Southwest, most times there are times they put regional interest above every other interest. That's Southwest.
Yes.
Can we replicate that?
It's possible.
All right, let's hope and wish. Thank you so much, Prince Barrister Christopher O. Moore, a constitutional lawyer and also a development expert. Thank you so much for your take this very morning and some other expositions you made. We appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Lisa. Thank you for having me in this.
And I must also say it wasn't easy to bring you here because it was more like some weeks of tracking to bring you here. Weeks of tracking. But we're able to do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I also want to appreciate every one of you who listen to, for those of you who are in Japan, those who listen from different parts of the world, Bielsa, we appreciate all of you. We have to end at this point. We're completely out of time. Thank you so much. We're going to do this next week. My name is Tony Olisambeke. Do have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Remember, World Cup is starting in 5 days' time. Maybe we're going to hear more from Preston by the time he takes us to Sports Arena. Bye for now.